Diambulist by Albert A. Monkeyfist. Time generates a beat. Secondary effects are inconsequential. I should know. I'm a cicada. We are song. How do I sing? I unfurl my Queen Anne's Revenge smoker-lung wings against the winds of your screams, the smash-and-grab gaze of my fishnet, pulling in a half-eaten mermaid tangled in Portuguese man-o'-war eyes liquefy your bones aposematic. I close the distance. Flee. The engram of me is inside you. That cursive ham passed mother to mother knows better. Can you hide behind a tree from leukemia? My frozen little bird Lawrence was oh so wrong. You will be sorry that you're in my song. My wings wrapping us in a translucent chrysalis, made for one, filled with two, and I play you. It's stridulation when you sing by rubbing body parts together, stick to drum. We will be mutually digested into one being. Our last gasps, struggles a sloppy dirge, collegiate shag of breaking bones. What's this? A willing Narabali? But before I can know, wet nightmare is how I was born. Posthumous birth of myself by myself. I am not just any cicada, not the 13-year, 17-year, but the 7,000-year cicada, son of Tithonus. I was born asleep, a native of dreaming. All I know of my body is a hypnagogic hallucination of the real. Here are just the dreamers and the dreamt. The only difference between the two is one has nowhere to go, the other nothing to get back to. It's by no means just humans that visit. Pigs, lizards, cuttlefish, spiders all dream. And there are other real oddballs that dream. For instance, the island dreams of La Isla de las Muñecas appears on dry land. It must get to the ocean, a sea turtle that laid its eggs. So it is drug, like a babushka, struggling downstairs with the trash of her husbands that died of angel lust, horrible sputtering hypnagogia of the dead that want to die more, as the limp head nods stare after stare. Cronus, with sleep apnea, struggles, sporadic slowing, reversing, breaking time, entire overexposure, epics of history are cut from the film to save the rest. When Kronos wakes from near suffocation, the pullers, those jolly dolls, heave forward. The dolls, with all their different songs, sung at once, cause birds to drop from the sky in confusion. Dreamers use these paths of destruction as roads. When I first arrived, 6,999 years ago, I sheltered from a storm of people dreaming they were falling inside the A&M Studios We Are the World sessions. I, in the role of Janet Weiss, gingerly slid out of my virginity and into the hungry door. The entrance read, "Don't give up all hope, all ye who enter here." The lights flickered but would not give up, struggling with all its might to keep the room lit. The studio was collapsing. Stevie Wonder was holding Ray Charles's legs with a cane out just short of Dylan. I'm not alone anymore? Stevie followed his nose. That's what friends are for. The floor sunk even more. In the middle, a piano slid in, playing the Wanderlust all the way down, wood shrapnel motion, the champagne confetti, everything is about to give. Quincy assuring Bob not all singers can sing, but they all can feel defeated. To get the feel, watch Bob's overwhelmed Becker lips in the chorus of We Are the World. Dylan grabbed a string hanging from Quincy's word bubble and lifted the room. Prince peeped in through the window. A Guernica Lady Liberty, out of window frame. The Melpomene conjoined twins fondled his shy dick. Paul Simon pulled me in before falling into the scene, dusted me off and looked at me, a proud dad to a son, straightening his tie, prepping me to sing the maftir into manhood. I know your part'll go fine. Another way of saying I will never see you again. Bruce asked Tina, do you think music will save the world? No, but it's the only thing that can. The storm subsides later. Sleeping Beauty and I would move those that dreamt they were flying to catch those who were falling. We were real fixers. Unlike physiotherapists, we didn't look for your root causes. We didn't dig your past. We dug you. We paired the go-to-work naked dreams with the sleep painters, gave hula hoops and martini shakers to the earthquake dreams. We pipered the denizen of dream to a frothing mob to our causes whole. You got trouble in River City routines to save the town, but often our numbers would collapse to pure Vivian and Lucy assembly line disasters. These days, Sleeping Beauty wasn't looking so hot. In the real world, she was in a glass case. Picture a Houdini act, but no Houdini to undo the lady cut in half. In the real world, you shit. Beauty's glass house was half full. On Sundays, we would eat the Irish ironically with Swift and unironically with Joyce. Beauty's nose crinkled. Everything tastes like shit. A half-eaten Yeats spits out an apple. My dear, my mother made this meal with her own loins in gold dress. Sit back down and eat me. I mutter, your mother kisses angel feet. An insult to Yeats. I put the apple back in his mouth. Beauty, right now, you just smell it. A few days more, you will be a goner. I can't lose my only friend. I wake in a year. We don't have a year. We have to find someone else. I don't want someone else to wake me. I squeeze her dream nose, not stopping the real smell. You rather drown in shit? No one rather drown in shit. That is the last stop of the you're fucked train. I searched for a dreamer to give her a kiss on the other side. But we had two problems. Dreamers have poor memories of sleep, and we didn't know where she was in the real. Jimmy the dolphin was game, but it turned out he couldn't go on land in the real. Is the real just built out of rules? For the second problem, I would enlist the help of the Phantom of Fine Hall. He was almost right about almost everything. He once almost saved the life of Gene Seberg. His legs dangled off the high cliff of an ancient piano key, overlooking Gold Rush Bay. Faux flowers hung stage valance off the key. Winged wiretaps feed the flowers information, while one eye always on the Phantom. They waited for him to look up at the Samzadat sky overhead. The Phantom blocked the forbidden information sun from his eyes. If the winged wiretaps see a drop of data leak into you, they would all stop pretending to be doing bird things and swoop in and drag whoever or whatever down into the naturally accruing submarines in the bay. The Phantom sat next to Le Ventrant Vidocq, the wild boar, who had an umbrella blocking the truth. The Phantom, taking no chance, flipped a double-headed oboe, then listened to his palm. The weather owl on the coin said that the Samzadat will pass this evening with a chance of light lugubru, but we should have clear perestroika skies the rest of the 7 swords of this week. Oh, look, old hog, it's that conniving cockroach. And the sleeping slut approaching. Oh, what would I give to put her setar between my legs? the phantom yelling out to her, "Oh, Zulifreda, my lady of sorrow, all I brought into this dream, all I got to offer is this cock. Let me play your singer bowl, your voice a Faraday wave away from making me come. You edge me, Zeno, to the door. Mathematically, I couldn't leave this altered state halfway between Paris and Texas." Beauty smelled shit. I don't trust them. They have been up to something the whole time they've been here. Those fuckers went to the land of the forever sleepers. Definitions bead on his prismatic oil-slick skin. They can't get in. I would fear even just his name, if he could ever have one. His deflection of meaning warped logic. I can no longer will absolutes. There is a game afoot, but no rules. The window, a specimen slide, a battlefield of infestation, mired in egg yolk. Limbs moving independent of mind, carrying out their last order, the end of order. The city is not on the other side, it's on the slide. This is its true atmosphere. I can see shadows of rooftop laborers through me. I am washy thin. What a shame the carpenter bees abandoned the window frame. What do you do when decay is done with you? That was him. Too many rainbow, luck is becoming over-plentiful ethylening chance to carry on, those wet panties on the radiator smoldering into a rainbow, a spoiled rainbow. Spoiled means something that used to be good. He used to be good. This is what he could have been. When he used to hunt for four-leaf clovers, charging in low, at a kneel, feet over his head sprint, fingers like lice combing the hunchback emerald fields. Him, a Formula One combine, spitting forests of green, blotting the sky, pull up fistful of who is the fourth in the Trinities. Love-me-nots, dandelions, uprooting destiny. Eyes can't be wider than mine. Fools applied his formulas to hole-in-the-pocket usury. His figures are now burlap bags over heads, a shot and pumpkin guts, a moth flies drunk from a wallet. Bulls mounting bears on the Castillo de San Marcos walls. That spongy wall is a natural occurrence. So are the bullets. And the finger that was in a cunt just that morning. A trigger is a trigger. If they only would have used his fingers on all of our lives. If you have luck, you take luck. If you take enough, all our drapes are ripped down one grenade pin at a time. We will be more than naked. We will be the very window. Voyeurs look in and out of us, all object drowners, hands reaching for absolutely nothing as far as you can see. The end times. But not mine. She's reminiscing. That is the first stage of giving up. She was on the phone. I used to be in a panic when I went to the dentist. He would yell at me for not flossing, but now, when he reads my record and sees that I have cancer, he slaps me on the back and says, "Good job, see you next year." There are no next years for her. All she can do is remember when she was a kid, live backwards. His formulas, they march forward. Earth's body Walmart half-price, half-empty shelves, homeless, grease the windows with hands and face, count down until your body becomes their fuck den. I know how it feels to be fucked in. My cells sexually reproduce. I can feel them breaking up, hang themselves lonely, looking at the pen and paper. Fuck, I forget to write the note, saying it was everyone else's fucking fault. The only real happy ending is the one you give yourself. The rainbows were after him, but he wasn't afraid. Not finding the end goes both ways, a zero-sum gain. Somewhere, red ties are tightening. She was spent, one leg off the bed. The red ties would crowd him on an elevator, pass the weight limit, push all the buttons, never get off. So close, pressing greedily against him, playing non-cooperative game like smelling him until his scent was gone. The phantom, to get away, would play his last game. He was between wake and dream. In the real, he was in a flame great clipper ship, and in dream he was 3 lifeboats watching himself burn. In the lifeboats were his desire, his wonder, and a third unknown force. All those years ago it was beauty that pulled him ashore. All those years ago it was the bug that took her away. The hog pulled the bug's attention away from the phantom and beauty. Somehow their shadows faced each other. "Hello, my le festin nu. I see you are molting. Why don't we partake in some entomophagy? While we eat, I will tell you of how I went from illustre sleuth to Balzac's illustre fool. It's the unsolved case of the resurrectionist and the empty grave accent." The hog put a comforting curled mustache around the bug's shoulder as they both lowered into hot pre-seasoned hot springs. The gutter runoff of Sodom's wanting drool mixed with tumult boil of defrocked liquid bishop to queen nine. The hog eyed over to the phantom, his companion. Which of the three was scheming the hog never knew. In dream, clues were riddles whose answers were self-deception, solving all of them, and you may never dream again. The phantom said one thing to Beauty as he thought another to himself. "Beauty, the bug cannot save you." Beauty never listened to the phantom until the end. She didn't watch movies, she listened to scores. You see, the bug has one long synapse between two neurons, point A to point B. How do you think he remains so seemingly innocent after 6,999 years of life and dream? Don't you wonder what he did all those years? Why he isn't skin-ripping mad like the forever sleepers? If you wake him, his one neuropathway will activate. And he will have two directives, fuck and then die. His corpse will be nourishment for either his mate or his offspring. No one knows. Mankind has not seen their breeding cycle. And if you become a hurdle to his prime directive, he will kill you, without a doubt. He will create a staircase of bones to her. Making love to him is the murderous journey to her. He will not simply wake up and fulfill your hero's journey. He is not a circle. He is a straight line. To my point, I will tell you what he has been doing all these years over there in the wastelands. Those lands are made out of unsolvable problems. Old bearded men, dragons, crows, angels. Find him on a path. Give him a quest, not to find a real grail, but yourself. Quests that should take you in a circle back home to kids and a wife. Ones that should take a lifetime of self-discovery and meaning, but he straight lines through them in a day. He is only Alpha and Omega. He is none of the letters in between. He learns no lessons. He doesn't grow, doesn't learn that home is where he belongs. He doesn't solve the problem. He erases the chalkboard, stab, stab, stab with his barb appendage, and grabs the grail. He stabs the dark prince on the shitter while he's in the middle of writing his diabolical speech. Then he forgets to go back to the old man, the crow, and so on. He can't circle around and overcome himself. He drives a cement truck. No brakes, straight through. And my dear, you're not even a circle. You are the grail. You are a dot. A dot and a line cannot form a circle. He cannot save you. If you doubt me, go to his burrow that he calls home. You will see. You will see that he is not us. She has been to his burrow. His table was held up by a talking harp. He used the Shroud of Turin as a blanket, 10 Commandments as a charcuterie board. The place was riddled with misused mystic items. Beauty understood that her little bug didn't understand that all these items needed to be put somewhere to save some kingdom. She was going to get around to helping him put them where they belonged in the spring, after the wet dream season. The phantom put too much weight into the decor and order of dream. Sure, some things were not where they should be. Some lands are cured not to have children until the golden teats of Asmoldo is placed in the mouth of the great grey worm. Sure, that teat was used by the bug as a spaghetti strainer. Her bug needed a little mothering, sistering, and daughtering. He needed all angles of a woman's touch. She also knows the phantom lusted his shapes, circles, lines, and squares, and her. The only shape she wanted out of him was a point. Beauty missed a paragraph or two. In math, he would be idempotence. He is predetermined, no free will. There are variables outside of him and not in him. Experiencing 6,999 years of outside variables makes you think that he has free will. His number has grown, but not varied. He is a large, incalculable number without variable, and we are ever-changing formulas. We self-aware are questions, problems. He is just an immutable answer. The two look the same if you can't do math. Who knows what you and I will add up to, but he will always add up to the same thing, fucking and then dying. Beauty hopelessly dug through her purse for an alternative to the phantom. That all adds up, Mr. Phantom, but what do I do about my problem? Oh, yes, my dear, sure. You do love simple, succinct. His tremble subsided. You must get Cupid's arrow and turn the cicada into a love bug. He will instantly understand love, unlike any bug. Wake up and poor anyone who tries to stop him from breaking you out of your shit aquarium. There is one caveat. He must not know you got or are getting the arrow. Got it. Beauty, head forward, fist clenched, started marching. Beauty, wait. Do you need a direction? You know which way to go? Sure. That might speed things up. The hog was also wrapping up his soliloquy with the bug. The bug also didn't listen, but like a lot of wild animals, humans saw a listening face. Many a man confessed murder to a seemingly attentive turtle. The hog nippled deep in warm Lube Creek. The bug antennas were the only part above water. So, it all makes sense. All you need to do is watch a play about you waking up written by Henry Miller and you will wake up. Also, Beauty can't know. The bug rose from the water, head forward, bunched up pokey appendages, marched off. Wait! Don't you want to know who and where Henry Miller is and how to put on a 3-act play? Casting? Anything? Okay, for utility's sake, I will just tell you there's an orchestra tuning up. I don't need to describe it. You know the sound and what it means to you. It's out of tune, gives up on being a song, and forms these words. These words are broken songs. Sing instead of say was the mantra of creation. Those happy days when nothing was made, but everything could be made. The first time I was given a name, it was Alonso Fernandez de Avellaneda. But through most of history, I had no name. When I didn't have a name, I didn't know the difference between myself and anything else. We don't need names. Try going through a day without one. You will feel less separated. The first time I was called something is the first time I felt shame for what I did or didn't do. Complete you. My job, more of a curse, is to end stories that someone else started but never finished. Why? Well, I didn't finish something. The very first something. You see, we closed hatches as we worked on you, down to the last hatch. But before we were done, I nicked off to do something I invented called sleep. I didn't remember to seal off your last hatch, the asshole. You see, you were supposed to be something like flowers or 1,000 other alien races that didn't shove things in one hole to just fall out another. This had a massive effect across every aspect of your life, and all life, with an asshole for that matter. Just one example. You were never supposed to hunt and eat each other. You were never supposed to have the moral dilemma of snatching a baby from a mother to eat. You were never supposed to fear each other as prey and predator. Some violently taking, others cowering in holes only coming out at night, hearts beating to near bursting in fear. The endless energy of the sun was there for a reason. Morals were supposed to be weaved into reality. There wasn't supposed to be any question of right or wrong. You just step in unison with the universe, and you would go through life to a perfect forever, filled being with you, everything you dreamt up. Life was supposed to be a fun little waiting room for paradise, a place to make more of us, then leave. Nature was supposed to be a good example, not dog eat dog, but your assholes created innumerable side effects. After we saw all the atrocities you committed, we couldn't let you come back home without a plan, but the plan was already made for us. We couldn't stop it. It was baked in the cake. You see, I wasn't playing with clay and just forgot to pinch off a hole, if that's what you picture. What I did was not close up the whole concept of an asshole. In short, the gateway to hell is just another asshole for the universe. Unfinished stories are also a ramification of my acts, or lack of acting, and me for not putting one period on your million-page story. I am cursed to finish any story that's unfinished. If I don't, and there are enough loose ends, that idea of an asshole only gets bigger, more prevalent, until there's nothing left but asshole. I have made mistakes in the past where there was someone left to finish the story, and I got caught making my normally crass endings to an otherwise wondrous tale. That is how I got my first name. But this time, sadly, there's no one left. Whoever started this story is not with us anymore. A shooting squad in the last functional trans-time radio station, if I remember right. He was trying to warn you about this or that. Now here is your problem. I simply don't care how things end. Only that they end. I give no fucks about art, moral, love, will they, won't they. I am a plumber who's fixing a pipe. I do not care if you watch me or not. I don't care if you're satisfied with my work. For God's sake, most of the time, like Gilgamesh, the Bible, I just threw in a flood and the end. What I'm saying is I am not here to entertain you. I'm here to end this. I'm not going back to make sure everything lines up. I do not care if there's an overarching moral. I'm just out to end it. So, here we go. A mighty flood. Excuse me? What? Fuck. Can't see what I see. I will narrate. A doll with a fucked up eye is pulling on my pant leg. Sir, I was there. I can finish the story if you give me a chance. Well, it partially takes place in dream, a domain of little consequence, and I'm not a Satan type. Lazy and forgetful makes a poor villain. What is your name, little one? Kurdish doll, number 3851, but Beauty called me Gabriella just once, and Gabby after that, sir. Well, you are on the list of witnesses. Shouldn't hurt. Go ahead then. Face the audience and take your time. Put detail where you can. Fill in parts that you forgot with what you want. Remember, the truth is the easiest to remember. Let's give you a few phone books to sit on. There you are. Do you know your first, second, third person perspective and the like? No, sir. I know my colors. Well, that will do. That will do. Go ahead. Hello, I am Gabby. I was made in Mexico and belonged to a girl that would dance with me. She had a daughter, and she sang with me. We had a flood, and I floated until Mother found me. Mother had over 9,000 children, including me. She was an island that dreamt. She dreamt of us. Sometimes we would wake up and dream on dry land, and we would have to drag Mother to the sea before we could swing for Mother and sing of the thousands of girls who used to play with us and what they became. Once we were dragging Mother, singing our dragging songs, and my gold boot was strapped under Mother. Mother didn't mean to, but she did push me deep in the mud and rolled over me. I could hear the songs getting farther and farther away. Tragic, the god interjected. It's okay. Beauty saves me. Oh, don't you say that. You have to build up tension. Tell them how you lost hope, that you would never see your family again. Well, lose your family again, because you also lost the little girls that danced and sang with you. You know what? You whisper to me what happened, and I will punch it up. Deal? Deal, she said with the chutzpah that only beauty could give her. Okay, we left off with you being ran over. Even if you don't breathe, being buried alive is a rough place to be. Past Gabby did not have a sense of touch, meaning no way to know up or down. Luckily, Dream also didn't know up from down, allowing Gabby to punch a plastic living dead hand through the earth. The surrounding flora and fauna were not impressed and went back to scheming ways they could get in any story. If they sensed any story being told, they would try to get into the description. They would prance back and forth in front of love's first kiss. Reveals of I am your brother, sister, mother, anything dramatic. The animals in this forest desperately wanted to be extras, enough scene time to get a SAG card. No longer a flat character chewing grass, they didn't want to be scenery, they wanted to dream, and wear clothing like the aviator jackets of the great owl. Gabby didn't give off any epic scent. To them, no one was watching this minor event. Gabby might as well never have happened, much like them. The deforested, muddy path of the island went two ways. She didn't know what was coming and what was going. A Saving Private Ryan Omaha beach of doll arms, legs, clothing, heads, twitching animals and not animals mixed in the muck. Gabby drug herself to a laced garter belt, thigh-high stockinged leg and replaced what she had lost in the mud. Be still, little one. A safe voice lifted her smoothly. Quicksand drained around her, revealing herself in the palm of a hand rising. A giant! The air bubble words came out without a choice. Oh, I wasn't a giant until I found you, little one. Look and speak, but don't move. The island opened the forest to eyes in the sky. She watched as handless animals tried to put on lost pants, shirts, and shoes, hopelessly. Then she looked back at the source of the hand. The largest man she had ever seen laying as lazy as he could against bowed trees. His face red-checked and kind. His suit white, except where it wasn't. His hand moving her slowly to his chest, and his eyes darted to the sky and the forest floor. His only movement. A deer struggled to shove its front legs into slacks while a smug vowel, feeling fully dressed, went up the pant leg. The vowel, now dressed for success, a step closer to stardom, mincingly demanded a long coffee order from the deer. The deer, feeling its inferiority, obliged. This mock of a drink that consisted of everything the vowel knew of, pine cones and the such. The deer scampered off into the forest on its scavenger hunt. The man watched. The doll dug into the man's chest like a cat making a bed. She didn't know what the white-suited man wanted her to learn from the scene, but leered as hard as she could, pushing into her surroundings, shitting her eyes out on it. Then, commotion in leaves. The doll, unbuttoned, went in and peeped out. All the pitches of animal cries confused the air. Black meteor struck animal after animal. The doll begged the animals to make it to the timberline, but the horror of the animal's instinct to run forward or towards a car and not to the side took over. She sat in anguish, a Super Bowl fan, impudent, tense, with each tackle a death penalty. She saw great black bats in nun habits dive into the forest creatures, wrapping them in their trash bag wings. Once the animals were encased, they ripped their wings off. The wingless bats then ran off into the forest, now rats, leaving the creatures struggling in trash bag habits. The nun clothing went on the creatures willy-nilly. Legs where heads should be, heads where arms should be. The creatures' struggles died down. The ways into their body healed shut, lips sealed. The freshly motley crew of frocked nuns organized in lines and started off into a direction, a holy procession. Nature, it finds every way. The religieuse chauve-souris, for instance, is a creature whose genetics are purely theological. It breeds by preventing other creatures from breeding. All those once shameless creatures' sexual energy are now channeled into public ignominy. The bats swooped up doll parts, creating triskelion of multiple subjugated wills, a quadriplegic Zelda Fitzgerald ballet, the snake-eyed dice and paradise. The doll moved to help her family, but a gentle finger held her back. It's over, my dear. Will does not come back from that, but it's nature, the fodder of your friends, will allow those go-go boot mushrooms bloom within all female cast of a woman's vengeance. It is a delight to see a natural story. No writer, you see. I know when something is natural, or when a mind is cooking the books. You see, if you cook and eat the books after the cataclysm and the sun also rises, they taste the same. If you cook the old boar and nutty phantom professor, you get a rich civet du sanglier, a delicious natural story. At the time, the doll didn't understand the giant in the white suit, nor did she know dream was all time at once, past, present, and future dreams, all together. Your first ancestor that walked upright, dreaming with the last of its line. And finally, she didn't understand the change of an unfixable pain in the man's expression. What she didn't understand about the man lifted as he pointed. Now, little one, follow my finger as close as you can. I must go before the vines start plucking and Campsis radicans start trumpeting to a Nancy Sinatra beat. To war with the church those mushrooms will go, the killing fields on the laugh-in set, the forest will become... Run, little one, run. The go-go boo mushrooms bloomed with the scent of Chanel No. 5 and 50s girls marching into the 60s. The horizon throbbed, proto-hippie orange, yellow, and red. The doll gave a hand salute to the Anarchite in mini-skirts. The doll heeded the giant's warning and did not run a horror movie damsel through the forest, but instead, like a wingless Valkyrie, with one leg slightly longer than the other. For a day, she ran until she came upon a line of people that disappeared and reappeared over hills into the horizon. An old man with gray wires coming from his nipples and a toga in the back of the line beckoned Gabby over. Come, you're late. Gabby followed direction. Get right behind me. There you go. Millions moved one step forward. You know, a good line is a type of dance. No, sir. I didn't know a line is a dance. Yes, you see. Gabby was grabbed up by a hand and put on a back. She grabbed hold of the silkiest brown curls. Nope, don't listen to the story, blah, blah, blah. There's a giant something that eats them in the end. Beauty, head forward, arms L, like a train piston, just starting. All these fucking half-assed parables, unbearable. Honey, no one here has a thing to teach you. We are mean-ass bitches. We don't have time for loser lectures. They're all losers. Elaborate losers, but losers. What's your name, kid? Doll, number 3,800. Oh, no, we aren't doing numbers. I had enough math. You ain't a dog track. Put your peepers in my face. The doll, shy, crawled around to Beauty's face. Oh dear, I am falling in love. You're Gabriella. Gabby for short. Gabriella for party introductions. I'm Beauty, and we are on a soul quest that now is a dual quest. Beauty was unstoppable as she pushed through one dumb metaphor after another. Gabby spoke of raising little girls. Beauty did the math and told Gabby she was at least 70 years old, and she would treat her as the wise babushka she was. Gabby was delighted to be free of the first impressions of her belittling body as she went on about the finer points of ice cream, tea parties, slumber parties, important adult current events. They talked and walked for days. No one or nothing that passed by mattered but each other until they got to where they were going. Blue, distant Tetris mountains, garbage on garbage, whole trash cities, filled valleys. Great holes in the sky poured more trash, some with distant falling screams, then silence. Beauty looked at Gabby's upside-down head peering over her hairline. What's our philosophy? Who cares? That's right. When life puts a mister in the way of your happiness, what do? Kick it in the balls and say, solve that motherfucker. The girls moved through the garbage of a million lost worlds with no curiosity. Frustrated, the garbage landscape put forth greater and greater oddities. Dead trees reached out holding crashed space rockets with pleading for life alien hands and cracked cockpits also reaching out farther. Their big eyes, heavy twitching lid of Turkish bazaar merchants, ready to haggle your life away. The girls marched with light brigade discipline until they came upon their destination. Amongst the junk was a wooden sign over a Lucy from Charlie Brown booth stating, "Love, name your price." Behind were barrels of half-ass arrows of every shape and size, arrows on the border of not being arrows. Some were those signs people spin on the side of the street for a grand opening. Fire pokers, weather vanes with the rooster still attached, and a line of ogres and other random creatures thrown away from other worlds hold arrows in a line leading to a baby with wings. The baby, leaning head in hand, eyes closed, touched the tip of an arrow. Boop! Then called out, "Next!" and so on. There was another line of people there to buy love. Beauty and Gabby, in line, listened to the crowd. One large lady with a plate of vegetables. "I am going to stab all these god-awful vegetables, fucking Brussels sprouts, broccoli. I am going to fill them like I am fucking the Jolly Green Giant while I eat this slimy-ass plate of okra. I don't even want to waste an arrow on my husband. I'm going to stir water with that fucking arrow. 0 calories, 0 fucks. I'll put one in my cunt if I want to fall in love." Another had DVD sets of their favorite Saturday morning cartoons. Another, a picture of his family that died in a car crash. I never mourned. Another interjected, "Did you really come all this way to be sad?" The baby waving, "Next! What do you got for me?" "My son," the mother stated. "Put him in the pile. Here's your arrow. Next!" The boy was placed next to an autographed cutout of a pregnant Schwarzenegger from the movie Junior, and other one of a kind marvels worth less than love. "Next!" The baby spied Beauty through the crowd. "Oh, shit, boys. Pack the fuck up and run." "But boss!" "No fighting, just fucking move, the motherfucking bug is here." The baby squinting. "Hold up, boys. Did you?" Laughing. "Did you come alone? That's too much. Fuck off, bitch." Beauty, moving nose to nose with the baby. "Listen." "Listen to what?" "He ain't here, I don't care. You two, you fucking ruin everything. You don't follow the rules, you don't go on Dream Quest. Us gods and the like worked since the beginning of time to give you all purpose. We give and fucking give. coming of age, becoming king, finding a fucking reason, love. And you all just jump the fence and take it with no ceremony, no stories. We are gods. You are starving us. We are just motherfucking stories. And you lost the plot. It's like I had a lobotomy. It's bad enough no one knows us anymore, prays to us. But you know us and don't pray. I don't even remember who I am anymore. Look at me. I'm just selling this shit now. Men used to go on epic journeys around the world, slaying rapey monsters, bringing me their skins, then get my arrows, only to find out love was in them the whole time. Now, what's this love worth? A solved Rubik's Cube? You can tell he just pulled the stickers off to solve it. Cupid gestures to the abandoned boy now fiddling with the cube. Fuck you, beauty. You should know better. You are one of us. Look at me now. I'm just like you two, cutting corners. It's so cheap. No ceremony. I'm going to put a shotgun wedding in my mouth. Beauty. But you are creating love. Who cares how? Making love is never wrong. You are the great god of love. God of love. Point at fucking love. God of fertility can point at a field. War can point at a battle. Lightning sure does lightning. Ocean everywhere. Love is not real, even here in dream. It never was. It's a verb with no motion. Its chemicals have already been named and put in a bottle. It's not magic. It's not special. There's no special someone out there for you. No one knows what it is, and it is because it is not real. Beauty, hand on hips. You should stab yourself with your arrows, you jaded baby. I tried. It doesn't work anymore. Love is real, and it does matter. Sure, Bug is not here to pop off your head, so I will play your god game. My game? Good, then I'll take the doll. Gabby walked forward. Beauty stopped her with her hand. No, you will not. And what would you do with the doll anyways? I would put it on a rack until it screamed, causing that island to come running. I would then harvest its dolls and make it into a sort of chained-up version of Santa's elves. Cupid! You are the god of love. What the fuck is wrong with you? Cupid stood tall. I am the son of love and war. I am the god of whatever that combination is, not love. It's not my fault that your simple language of, Cupid looked at one of the ogres. What do they speak? Ogre shrugged. People. Your simple language of people combines the two concepts into one word. As Cupid beckoning, ogres moved forward to retrieve the doll. Wait! I said I would play your game. If I can prove to you love exists, you will give me an arrow. Cupid, laying on his counter. This should be good. I'm only thousands of years old and have been hearing the greatest minds ever talk about love every day, but sure, go right ahead. Beauty began. You see, the bug explained it to me. Wait, the bug? The biologically incapable of love bug explained to you? Cupid, amused. Please, go on. The bug once said, boy bands that break up like the Beatles were almost love. Beauty went on while Cupid, disinterested, poked various insects, causing gruesome orgies. Those boys of all those bands together unraveled the secrets of love in their songs. How did they know those secrets of love? Those boys fell in love with each other and didn't know it. Confused and jaded, unable to consummate their love, they break up and enter loveless marriage after loveless marriage. Real love is if those four-man bands give up on conventions, override their biological wiring, and enter into a four-way union, never breaking up. Cupid, bored, poking the line for free, tossing arrows to the crowd. Beauty, true love is a Beatles orgy? Then Cupid truly thought, looked at Beauty, hand on hip and chin. No, my girl, love is how stupid with confidence you and your bug are. Love is thinking you have a chance. The greatest love is to big for this world. It dies from being crushed by its boundaries. But if you are saying you know it is love because it can't happen, then sure, my stupid little girl. Love is you playing my game, even though you loathe it. Love is not letting me take your doll. These are puny offerings, but they are offerings. Go, child, and remember, the arrow is always the beginning of your problems, never the end. Bug sat in a makeup chair. The cosmetician gave up on reddening his cheeks and quaffing the bug's antenna, but instead painted the character the bug was going to play, an early 1960s boy, on the back of his shell. Miller sat in the chair next to the bug, reading the Dream Times. Miller loved the bug because the bug was not an actor and didn't want to be an actor, probably physically couldn't act. Miller side-eyed 3 chairs down a deer with its front legs in a pair of pants and a vowel, where one of the legs, as a foot, both had a face mask and limes on their eyes, practicing elocution. Miller cared about characters, not actors. He didn't know the actor Vladimir Barsky. He knew Grigory Valkulinichuk. In the last 100 years, audiences confuse the love of a character with an actor. Calling actors genius perturbed him. Genius. Tell the average person to pretend to be a coal miner, and he will do a passable job. Tell the average person to split the atom. Hell, describe how to split the atom. There are no geniuses in the arts. There are genius artisans, Rembrandt, Van Rijn, Glenn Gould, but not artists. Music, story, painting hits the religious core of man. We fall on the floor, piss ourselves, and ungulate to it. And we are addicted to our marrow. We have no sense when it comes to it. We treat a person we tell to remember a few lines and say them sad as if they were Moses with the tablets. When you ask someone who is the greatest living man and they say some actor, it's like asking a heroin addict, what was the greatest invention of the 19th, 20th century? The space shuttle? Flight? Computers? No, sir. Heroin. The bug couldn't act. He was action, a force of nature. His thoughts were movements. He didn't scheme. There was no plan A, B, or C. His plan was what he was in the act of doing at the time. What he was in the act of doing now was saving beauty in a way he did not understand. Miller understood. He was filled in by the phantom on what needed to be done. Miller would be dreaming of Norma if the phantom didn't have leverage on him. That he was cheating on her, and the phantom knew. He wanted to punch himself in the gut. Cheating on her was like eating ice cream every day and having ballad as your cheat meal, but it was okay. This will fix it all. Miller did not feel much like writing since Norma. Writing was his mournful mating calls. Miller's call was answered. Dolly was right. Love and sex ends art. Miller was so happy. If he wrote it now, he would cast Don Knotts in Death of a Salesman. Every ending would be love. Oh, Norma was all tragedy inside and all happiness outside. And he was all tragedy outside and happiness inside. She was an unwanted orphan, kicked out of home after home. And when she grew into a bombshell, she was kidnapped, tied up in the basement of home after home. Unwanted or wanted, she was always property. All she wanted out of him was a safe person to lay on and say things on. She never had it. Someone who was safe, that she could take the girdle off her soul with. But he was failing. Every word he said to her was riding her closer to her tragic ending. He needed the Phantom's plan and the bug's sacrifice to save her. Miller found it hard to concentrate, but he didn't need to. Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf wasn't even his play. No one here knew better. He got a free house that comes with drunk married ghosts arguing, as the set. The ghosts' unresolved issue were close enough to Martha and George. Their game was pretending they never died. Pretty standard for ghosts. They easily pretend, or they easily agreed to pretend, that they had a kid. Miller put the new twist that untwisted the original end. The bug will be playing the son, entering at the very end, precisely 324 days after the original ending. Miller didn't care. He wanted his body smashed up against Norma's. It was absurd she was in his bed. Millions of men wanted to hold her from behind, one arm around her waist, the other wandering as he kissed her. The luck is astronomical. And she loved him back. She gave so much love. It unwrote all his tragedies. Salem witch trials became an Elvis clam bake, and her sweet and salty of being both innocent and demure, and also worldly sexy and vivacious. What she did was give herself to him. She was empty, but the size of her emptiness could fit worlds. There was something in her that made the remaining space so massive, like when Plato's knowledge left, leaving just wisdom. What was he thinking? But she was already gone. Was he playing the Who's Afraid game? Bug, are you ready? The bug stood backwards, painting of the boy on his back, ready to go through the door. Miller signaled, "Move forward, 324 days." Apollo shoots a thumbs up. His chariot pulled the sun across the sky, whip in hand. The sky began to strobe day to night. Seasons changed. The sun and moon formed a signal orange, then white line across the sky. The iced coffee in the dear vowel actor's hand changed to pumpkin spice latte, Hawaiian shirt to peacoat. Beauty and the doll watched the sky strobing into the future, a very dream thing to happen. The long shadow of the phantom spun around him. Beauty, hair cemented with sweat to face from the long journey. Beauty handed the arrow to the phantom, but just as quickly, the phantom spun the arrow around and stabbed Beauty. "Gabby, run to the bug!" The blood spread on her blouse. Gabby ran. The phantom eyes locked on Beauty. "Beauty, who was your father?" Beauty's body filled with warmth as she began to lay, and the phantom began to encroach Bacata. Beauty pressed in. "What was the name of your kingdom?" The phantom pressed. Beauty gave. Oh God, it was all going away. His weight on top of her. Gravity blankets all her neurotic autism pushed out like a great fart. Be gone, you stench of to-do list. Should she have had kids? Is it too late to learn the piano? She rode her hands down to his ass. She got the fingers for it, the piano. She could play to the tune of this rhythmic, warm throbbing, this fever ache that ran through her veins, hot iodine going down all her streets, lighting up that sugary cancer. I want to be his dancer. Warming as he pets cancer, she takes in his throbbing fever to the same beat, like putting back one of her teeth that fell out, and it takes root again. All her veins wrap around him. Their system of blood is connected at every point, ivory to haunted house. The phantoms. Why don't you know these simple facts, Beauty? Both undress and kissing, both of their hands warm ice cream scooping out all their seams, gentility lifting mounds of flesh, speaking into her mouth, neck, and ears. You don't know these things, beauty, because I don't know these things. Beauty, you are my dream that ran away with a bug. How much does someone hate themselves if their dream runs away with someone else? Beauty's fever burnt every word. You'd rather drown in shit than be with yourself. The flickering sun is going from basking her in its warmth from a distance to pressing against her. Beauty guides the phantom, her son. Oh, there you go. Set between my thighs. Ride your flares all the way down as you open me up. Good morning. His want is real. This is not servicing her. This is a release. This man is a greedy little fuck. Take it all. There you go, you good boy. You truffle pig nosing just around. Just above. You found what you're looking for. Dig your prize. He pulled her in by ass, hip, and thighs, lip to lip, her hands full of his horse's mane. She could feel her moan coming up from her toes to her throat. She was hollowing out so he could fill her up. She was his dream. She knew nothing could be wrong with her to him. She was already living fully in his head. Not an idea of her. Her in full. She fully knew the arrow gave her the freedom of never questioning his want, her want. The revelation meant nothing. The bug meant nothing. The bug was all questions. The bug was all thinking. They never fucked, just played. She could make him sleep in her bed. It was always innocent. He was always innocent. All those years. It was even innocent when she played with herself with her next to him. At first, covertly. But then, she found everyone around him became innocent. He was without shame. She could put one hand between her thigh and one on his great shell. It felt like the hood of the meanest muscle car, warm and vibrating with enough pent-up torque to tear down all of a dream. Like a dress caught in a wood chipper. That impenetrable shell had cosmic levels of fucking in it. It swirled and moved black, purple, and blue. More ocean than ocean. More space than space. She desperately wanted him to stretch her to spaghetti, to nothing in his heavier-than-black hole center. She grew bolder over the years and straddled his shell, let the vibration of his thought factory tumescent her soul, form her soul. He made her soul. She would lift his arms and wrap herself in him. She was the only one that could know that he deeply loved her. His arms would be impossibly heavy to move if he didn't give. But these were no longer feelings, just thoughts. The phantom was unclogging her, getting rid of something, replacing it with nothing, filling all her emptiness with his emptiness. She was brimming with him. She pulled him in nails deep, cock deep. She will make him fight to retract, then pull him back in again. She thought, this is a dream. I am a dream. This is a dream. I am a dream. To the rhythm of the sun flickering to the moon. The ghosts leaned against each other. The mother turned to the father. Papa, I'm afraid of reality. The reality of... we don't have a son. The sun stopped moving. The stage light on the painted shell of the bug. The bug is at the open front door. Their son is real. The bug says, "Mom, Dad, it's not a game. I am real." Miller crying, "Bug." The bug begins to flicker. "Bug, it's time. I'm sorry." The audience looks to Miller. "For love? I have done you wrong. It's been 7,000 years to the day, to the minute the bug flickered." The boy turned around. The bug faced Miller. "Bug, please, save Norma. I couldn't. You can. She wanted me to lay in bed every day, all day. I couldn't. You can. She wanted me to replace the drugs. I couldn't. You can. You are the greatest dream we ever had. And you are waking up." The bug flickered for the last time. He felt for the first time a body's broken bones stuffed in a suitcase. The smell of root and dirt and less than a minute of air. Darkness that had been dark for 7,000 years. He broke limbs against dirt, struggling frantic, a spider in a bathtub, then a leg or an arm. Broke through to light. He felt purpose for the first time. He must find her, then she must eat him, and 7,000 years of dreaming, just like a night, faded. He became a real suffering. "I gotta pee." Gabby hopped off the phone books. "Pee? You're anatomically correct?" "Yeah, that happened in the story." "But the story's over." "Oh no, I just have to pee." "But it's hopeless." "No, I'm just building tension." "If you're anatomically correct, alive, that means your fucked up eye isn't a broken doll eye. I am a god, you know. Let me fix that thing when you get back." "Please, and thank you." "Okay. To keep you busy while she's peeing, I will continue to tell you how I fucked up all of life. You see, when I forgot to close the butthole that caused a whole chain reaction, mouths were not supposed to be connected to the asshole. Who would do that? They were there for communication and kissing and tasting air. Air used to have all the flavors of food. You would travel the world and taste your favorite city, mountain, and so on. Oh, and no periods or pissing. That is all my fault. I caused your fun hole to become your confusing fun shame hole. Oh, and babies were marsupial size at birth. You would have had a natural hip pocket that the kid could crawl into, but I fucked it all up. Do you see all the second, third, and fourth order effects I caused? Shame. Once again, I am a higher being, so I don't feel guilt like you do. Even me communicating with you is more of an automated function, like sweating or dancing when Pump Up the Jam comes on. My higher self isn't all that aware of you, but even if I don't feel shame, I do understand it is fucked up what I did, and it would be nice for you to know this is not how it should have been. Gee, it's taking a long time. Maybe we can stop for today. I don't even know why I rush with all that flood business. I mean, I am a timeless being. So, you have a walk-in refrigerator? Do you have ice cream with chocolate and peanut butter in it? Of course! Why did people even keep looking for different food once they found peanut butter and chocolate? It's insane! Just eat the best thing. Doll coming back with 2 bowls. I agree. Why eat anything else? All right, get back up on those books. You ready? Yeah. Fine. Prince, who I think is somewhere in the story, greased 2's in on a purple motorcycle yelling, "Let's go crazy, motherfucker!" Phantom snaps his fingers. You don't think I didn't forecast you would purple rain on my parade. 40 Nobel laureates pop out of the grass in ghillie suits and circle Prince and a sickly beauty. Prince, crestfallen. Et tu, Gandhi? Gandhi pulls out a switchblade. An eye for an eye will make the world go blind. I may as well start with you. The circle began to close around Prince. Hey, show some respect. The laureates, in disbelief, see Aretha Franklin atop the hill. The Phantom. What are you going to do to stop us? You mean, what are we going to do? Sam Cooke, the laureates exclaim in unison. Look over your shoulder, honey. The Jackson Five emerge on the laureate's flank. Beauty joyously befuddled. How did they know? Herbie, the love bug, packed with 5 ogres and Cupid, careened over the hill. Hey, Beauty, let's say I had a change of heart. The Phantom, brimming with confidence as he scanned his armed laureates, particularly Noble himself, clinching dynamite in both fist and his teeth. You don't have a chance in hell. Over the horizon of the hill, a reenactment of the most important scene in cinema history, the part in Born in East LA, where Everybody Is Coming to America started playing. Tina Turner, raising her hands. Love has everything to do with it. Behind her, all of Motown emerges and charges. The energy pulsing from Marie Curie's hands dies down. I did not sign up for this shit. Stop. It's too campy. It's like Batman one-liners mixed with movie references. I don't know. Just describe what's going on without all the references. Please, just keep going on with the original story tomorrow. Well, Missy, it is rude to use my haphifnic description when someone out there did it better than me. Bedtime stories are more important than my ego. If somebody said it better than me, I will refer to them. Plus, I just worked a double shift at the plant, and your mom keeps bitching that I'm emotionally unavailable and that an alpaca farm isn't practical for an 8-floor apartment. She's not a dreamer like you and me, kid.